The Blunt Talk.
We've been gone for a minute. Well, we are back. And we back in full effect.
Yes, indeed.
So come on into the room.
Shit on. Turn it on.
Put it on for y'all on my page.
Did you see if the sound was working?
Turn it on.
Well, we are.
Blunt Talk.
Oh, I don't know. Hold on a second. Let's see. Wait a minute.
Blunt Talk.
So.
Right here.
Testing.
Check one. Yep, the sound is working. All right. The sound is up.
What's the show at on here?
Gotta refresh.
Blunt Talk.
There we go. See if y'all can hear us pretty good and everything.
We good.
Blunt Talk. Let's go.
Okay.
Rocking it.
So come on in, everybody.
Come on in. Come on in. Come on in.
Let me turn this down. Okay, so we're going to share that.
Blunt Talk Live.
Hope everybody had a good week and everything. It's been a rough one here for me, but I'm making it through.
Oh, we up, we live. And this is not the regular time. We was running late. Brother Hatim had to do a bunch of stuff before, so we late because of Brother Hatim.
Yeah, we are.
Better late than never.
You could
Better late than never.
Better late than never.
What time is it?
It is 7:51.
So the post that I put out ain't gonna go up to 8 o'clock. So we got a couple minutes. So
welcome to Blunt Talk.
So hope everybody had a good week.
Welcome
we're
to
gonna
Blunt
go.
Talk.
Anybody before we get started on any topics right now? Anybody want to discuss anything current event wise before we get started? Got any announcements or anything like that?
I want to say that I thoroughly enjoy my man Dave Chappelle's comedy special.
Yeah, that was the bomb.
Very insightful, very clever, and to the point. I mean, it was like, because I like laughing and thinking.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, he does a great job of combining the aspect of getting you to think about the comedy that you are ingesting.
Columbus, Ohio.
Or should I say digesting? Because hopefully y'all digested some of the stuff he said.
So what was some of the stuff he talked about?
Well, I mean, of course we know the major one was, you can kill a nigga, as he said, you can kill a nigga, but you better not hurt a gay person's feelings. And what's crazy about him saying that is that the very thing that he said, they are proving.
Right.
Because it's not like he said anything destructive to them.
Right.
Right? But he hurt some people's feelings. And now
he did. Now they're coming out against.
Now they're coming out.
The gay black
right
community that's coming out.
They even tried to strike. I understand that they tried to strike at Netflix, and some of them ended up getting fired.
Wait, what? Who tried to strike?
Yeah. Oh, the LGBTQ. I don't even know what they tried to strike at Netflix, and inspired a strike. Some of them probably worked there, and I think some of the people might have got fired because they got up on that shit. I'm just sitting up here like, good grief.
Okay, well, shit.
I
mean, I think his story that he told about his trans friend and how I believe that she did commit suicide because she was being bullied by that community. And as he said, I'm going to need your people to stop beating down on my people because it's turned into almost like a bullying thing. If you don't go along with what I say, then we're going to cancel you. We're going to make it so where you're not able to eat to survive. We're going to cancel you, and you're not going to be able to survive. And that's some bullshit, because you can support the LGBTQ community, or you could even because they have rights, just like everybody has human rights. But if you say, well, I want my son, I would prefer my son to be straight, now you're going,
Now
that's
you're right,
that's
right,
homophobia.
right. You're not allowed to. You're not allowed to have those type of discussions, and I'm on that. Fuck that. We supposed to have those type of discussions because that although some people, I mean, because like I said, we probably about to get canceled with this conversation right now. But you know what I'm saying? A lot of that shit you can choose. You can't choose the group that you're born into, but you can choose how you interact in that group. And I know some people are like, no, you can't. But hey, I mean, you have your opinion, I have my opinion.
And that's the thing that people don't want to respect other people's
right.
opinions,
or they don't have to. It ain't that they don't want to. I ain't gonna respect your shit if I don't have to. See, because what you've been saying has been wrong for so long, and I feel, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, so, and then what happens is they'll take all of the arguments that we use for what we've been through as a people, and they will turn that shit on us and try to make it look like we are the bad guys. And I'm
really
like,
oppressive.
Fuck that.
Right.
I ain't got time for that. You know what I'm saying? That's why I keep on telling people, we need to get up out of all these other categories and focus on black folks. Focus on black folks. Because everybody else is going to get in this motherfucker and push us out because your struggle don't mean shit to nobody else but you.
Right. And it's like we always, as the black struggle, get pushed to the back.
Yeah.
We'll be in the forefront for the fight sometimes, but then there are other people's causes seem to push us to the back. And then it's women's rights, protect women.
Gloria Miller, because that's not what the show is about. You can have your own show and you can talk about whatever the fuck you want. I'm sorry. I'm just what I'm saying, right? It's like, yo, we're talking about one thing, you bring up something else. Stop that shit. It's other shows out there. Go bother them.
I mean, I guess she's saying that they ended decapitation, meaning abortion. I'm assuming
she's talking about abortion.
But I mean, I know that
that's not the subject.
It's not the subject, and also I know that those statistics that you're using are skewed statistics, because with the abortion piece, we have to realize and take it into consideration. Because I know this for a fact, because I spoke with white women who have been pregnant on their husbands or behind their husband's back, and they ain't pregnant by their husband, or they don't want the baby. Or I've talked to white women who have been young and have gotten pregnant, and because they didn't want it known, they've had to pull, and the doctors that were willing.
Yes, I am, and I'm about to cuss your ass out.
No, you ain't, and they are willing to not even document the procedure was done. So that's why I don't even that statistic.
But then also we can also look at that statistic like this. How come we got so many young parents out here? If all half of the pregnancies, how do you know half of the pregnancies? Unless you know half the motherfuckers, or you know all the motherfuckers that's been pregnant. How do you know? You don't know.
But anyway, like you said, that wasn't the topic of the show.
Before we go, I think human beings need to, let motherfuckers be motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? In other words, like, if a person wants to get an abortion, let them get it. You just better be watching your damn body. You know what I'm saying? And if your ass get pregnant, then you don't want to get nothing, then keep a damn rape pregnancy. If you want to. You know what I'm saying? Anybody got no argument about that?
Because I don't like that shit. She can go somebody else's show. She can just say whatever the fuck she want to say. Go somewhere else. You ain't got to listen to an old perverse motherfucker, because this is blunt talk. We're blunt. I'm blunt. If you can't read, you can't get the title, keep your dumb ass where you are. Sorry.
Okay. So anyway, one of the questions we had was, let's talk real quick about pretty privilege. I was watching a sister, she did a video, right? Mm-hmm. And she was saying that she wasn't as pretty as other women, and that it hurt her in some ways because she was denied certain opportunities at work, or what have you. She has been the damsel in distress, and nobody came to her aid because in her mind, which I
like your
thought
ass got low self-esteem. Shit.
so that's what I is it pretty privilege? I mean, is there such thing as pretty privilege? Hot
We
take.
are, yeah, we know it. We know there's a such thing as pretty privilege, and also in our community, there's a big ass privilege too. I'm just saying.
What do you mean a big ass privilege? Are you talking about like a big
Big
ass privilege? Or are
woman,
you
a
talking about
woman with a
big
bomb
ass.
body and a big ass can get away with a lot more than a woman without any body. I'm just trying to let y'all know. I mean, it's privilege, and people have privileges. You know what I'm saying? So,
But should you be okay? So like the show I was.
Should be okay because that is out there like that. Should you feel some kind of way about it? Is what the question is. I think. In other words, because a woman got a big butt and uh, either prettier than you, should you be carrying the attitude because of that? You know, because guess what? She didn't make herself. She
Right.
just came out like that.
Right.
And you can't help it if the boss is feeling some kind of way about her and ain't feeling that kind of way about your ass. You know what I'm saying? You
But-
can't help that. You shouldn't take on that. The person who feeling like, well, I wasn't that pretty. You shouldn't take on that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
you can recognize it. You can use it to your advantage as well.
You can use it to your advantage,
But
you know, you shouldn't take that shit off.
But pretty privilege does exist, but there's other types of privilege that exist as well. So, like
You could
the
be a
show I
fucking
was,
hard worker and ain't pretty and still can get the same shit done.
right?
If you just want to fuck a nigga. You know
No,
what I'm saying?
she talking about some of the advantages that come. Like for example, with pretty privilege, a lot of times a person that's looked at with a soft eye, that's soft on the eyes, could say shit that other people will be disciplined for, or they're able to get away with more. Like because like with the whole privilege piece, it's like I'm privileged, so I can say some of the things that I want to say. You're going to be able to get away with more, which could be problematic. You know what I'm saying?
It might be that way, but not necessarily.
No, what I'm saying for her experience, it could be that way.
That's what I'm saying.
But listen, we know as men, it is pretty privileged. Let's not act like it's not. Certain women get more privileges than other ones because we tolerate them because they're soft on the eyes, and we're always thinking that there might be a possibility.
Okay, so if you got a company,
Right?
you know, and they got some pretty women in the company,
Mm-hmm.
they got some medium women in the company, and they got some, I'm gonna use the word not so pretty, but you may not get them to stand up.
They may not be what some society considers the most attractive.
Yeah. But that don't mean that, you know, they're not nice. You know what I'm saying? And if you're looking for the outside,
You ain't looking for no goddamn nice.
look,
Come on, brother. Stop talking. Stop playing.
Look. That don't mean they're not nice. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean they won't do anything for you. That don't mean they won't do anything for you.
I just want to announce we done made it to we're about to make it to the big time because we got some ignorant motherfuckers on here tonight. Hey Tyrone, with your gay ass, how you doing?
Stop.
You know.
But yeah. So I mean, but there's all kinds of.
See, but hold on.
Might have...
We getting into what we was talking about. See, we just started talking about. We opened up with Dave Chappelle. Look what's going on. That's what that is.
Yeah.
That's what that is. Don't hurt their feelings. Fuck your feelings.
I'm not even paying them attention.
Well, then block them off.
But
no, don't block them. No, come on, because they're part of the conversation.
They say I'm not paying.
I disagree, but that's okay. Go ahead.
So anyway, I do think that but there's all kind of privilege people have. There's pretty privilege. Somebody might have skinny privilege. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's
smart privilege.
Smart privilege.
Yeah.
So I mean, this leads me into where the topic went into that. Do black people play too much in the victim Olympics? Are we always victimized, coming off as the victim instead of trying to not be the victim, so to speak.
So you
Because everybody is a victim of something. This is just what the show is saying. Everybody is a victim of something.
what show so that people could go back and refer to the show. If you,
I don't want to do that. Thank you. The people are a victim of something. So, like some people might have blonde hair privilege, or some people may have college privilege. Do black people just are black people always looking for a pity party? That's the question.
always, are we always looking for a pity party? See, now I kind of have a problem with even asking the question like that because it's sort of like when it comes to us, we're supposed to look past history. Period.
Okay.
We're supposed to look past history. Period. You know what I'm saying? Which is problematic for me because a lot of people will come on and act like I did it and I pulled myself up by my own bootstraps, when in fact they have not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What they're talking about is false, and they're lying. You know what I'm saying? Or they're not blind. They're blind to what is really happening. And so I don't think we no.
You don't think we participated because we are being victimized pretty much. So
Oh my God! I mean, we can look at the numbers to see that shit, but you're right. Everybody else can look at the numbers and say the same thing. People, the LGBTQ, they could get the numbers to prove their facts. White men can get the numbers to prove their fact. White women get the numbers to prove their facts. So, you might be.
Maybe we the only ones who are not.
Not what in the Olympics.
Well, I think
I think we only in those Olympics.
My ashtray and the lighter, please. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all.
I think we're in the Olympics of with each other, but we don't do it. But we ain't doing it in the world enough because, and I'm afraid to say that in a way because
I agree with that.
Even if we did it in the world, we tend to take that and own it for ourselves, as you talked about earlier. Without helping a sister or brother to come up, especially when you talk about companies where people are working at. You know what I'm saying? Right. We walk by them motherfucker like, oh, I'm not helping you. You didn't cause me to do this. I did it myself.
I did it all.
You know what I'm saying?
Since I did it by myself, you
got to do it by yourself too.
And see,
and we need to get out of that.
Yeah, that's fucked up because, for number one, when you sitting up there with all of them white people at these board meetings and all of this kind of shit, you know what I'm saying? You got to shut the fuck up because your vote don't really mean shit. You know what I'm saying? But if you had some people that you done pulled up with you,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Then y'all can begin to start talking and voting alike on stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Because I think a lot of times with us, we do have that mentality of why should I help him? I had to struggle to get here.
Yeah. But you ain't struggled, motherfucker. Had a lot of motherfuckers came before you.
But you may have struggled to get there.
They laid other people laid the
foundation. Yeah.
But even if they did not, the thing about it is with a lot of us, and we're going to talk about us because that's our community.
That's right.
Is that they I see other black people say like even when I'm not going to put you on, I had to work hard for mine and this, that, and the third. But then I do see other communities that will put somebody on just because they are Asian and you are from my community, so I'm going to get you a job here, or I'm going to help you with this, and I see that happen even with children. I see people hire, in companies hire their children who ain't got no goddamn experience and make them a goddamn chief financial officer, and they ain't had no damn experience at all.
They don't start them.
They'll learn that shit on the job. Bullshit. I know. That's what happened in my job.
I
used to work at.
I can see that.
I never experienced it.
I can see that, but guess what? If it happened with black people as much as it happened with other races of people or other cultures of people, if it happened to black people as much as it happened to them, I'm cool. You see what I'm saying? In other words, if you help your goddamn child, if he's struggling with the job that he got, and you help get him on where you work at, I could see that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You helping him you help making it better for him.
But I'm kind of because where are you helping them? Because a lot of times we talk about these jobs, we're talking about other people's business. If I am the father of that person,
well, I'm talking about if you even own your own business.
right? So if I own a business and I want to bring my child on as a chief financial officer, I know some people outside that will say, wrong. Huh?
You better know something about money.
Well, listen, no, that's why I got somebody else strength that I could put them in charge of that can actually run the department. And I got my child on learning. This is how people. I mean, I'm honestly.
It's on the job training. That's what they get their children on the job training.
And as far as that, I think because we're on the receiving end of that, yeah, we're gonna complain about that shit, but we would do the same shit.
So let me listen to this. So I was watching The Breakfast Club, and Damon Dash was on there, and he was telling DJ Envy. This is an old interview. He was telling DJ Envy and everybody else that worked there that they pretty much were slaves, and they could. Why didn't you start your own business, and then you could give it to your son?
Right.
You can't pass on this job to your child.
Right.
And he said, well, you ain't got no pull in here. He was like, well, I mean, yes, I do. I mean, I've been here for years. He said, so if you wanted to right now, bring your son in tomorrow and let him start DJing, could you do it? And he was like, well, no. And he's like, then you ain't no boss. That's what he said. You ain't a boss.
Right.
Well, you can't walk around saying that you a boss when you can't even bring your child in and say, this is where you're going to work. Then you're just not a boss.
And that's where a lot of our issues come, because many of us are not in a position of boss them. Right? So I'm on somebody else's job, and I want to dictate how they are supposed to treat me. Right? I want to dictate how much I make. When you can't really do it. I mean, you legally, the government can step in, but those companies are going to pay people what people are accepting. And if people are accepting what you are paying, you know what I'm saying? Because what I always can say is, if you don't like how much I'm paying you, take your ass somewhere else.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Okay. If you don't like how I'm treating you, take your ass somewhere else.
Okay. Right.
Okay. You know what I'm saying? And so now I eliminate that. But many of us are stuck. Why? Because we haven't done the work to be able to bring my son on as a DJ. You know what I'm saying? Like a G&J.media.
Right.
We're trying, like, for example, I reached across you and I blocked somebody. Why?
Because you can. Because you can.
Because I can, right? And you can do the same shit. Illumina can do the same shit. Why? Because this is our platform.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So when it's yours, you can set the perimeters. Now, I have been known to tell certain of my friends who have businesses and shit. I said, if this shit crash and you're driving it, and you help build this motherfucker, you have more right than anybody else to crash this motherfucker. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
So that means if you want to bring on your son, you want to bring on your cousin, you want to employ everybody before this motherfucker go up in flames, you have every right to do that.
Right. And that's what folks
do.
We
need to do more entrepreneur instead of working for folks.
That's what I'm saying. See,
you use the working part maybe as a stepping stone.
Right.
But see,
or working is your daytime shit, your nighttime shit, because we got the grind at night. Like right now, this is not work hours for us. This is why we're able to do the show, because it's not work hours for us. We're putting in extra time to build a dream. Right. Go ahead.
And it may not, and we may not be in a position right now to bring people on. You see what I'm saying? So that you may be looking at 5 or 10 years down the line. Could be.
See, but that's every business. Go ahead.
Hold up. I'm not saying that it shouldn't be done. But shit, you still got to live. You see what I'm saying? You still got to live. You know what I'm saying? And all I'm saying is that if you are somewhere, wherever you are, maybe it's a good idea that you begin to train your family members or whoever you plan on bringing in you know, what's this about? What's whatever you doing is about it is bringing in a substantial amount of money, especially if they are not working. Go ahead.
Right.
I'm just gonna
So
say
look,
we focus on the money aspect so much that we miss the possibility. See, we'll follow other people's possibilities because they could give us a minimum wage or they can give us a little bit. But when it comes to us pursuing shit for ourselves, because there's a possibility there, right? We shy away from it. That's the only issue because it's like, listen, what we're building, we need to be bringing on individuals, right? Because we need somebody working the computer. We need somebody blocking people that don't need to be in our conversation. We need somebody working the lights. We need somebody. And in them doing that for us, they learn skills that they can use. And the better we become, the more we can build up and the more money we can make. I'm sorry, but go ahead.
So with that being said, let's transition into the leadership part then.
Oh, God.
Because you wanted to talk about the black leadership.
I want to talk about that shit. Because
do we have a black leadership?
No. See,
is that a problem?
Yes, that's a definite problem. Because what we have is we have a bunch of people being able to do whatever they want to, not realizing that because you have a platform, you become a leader. You know what I'm saying? Like Charles Barkley said, I ain't nobody's hero. I ain't nobody's example. You know what I'm saying? But you're on a media platform that reaches millions of people, and you feel no responsibility for how your thoughts and what you say affect people.
So can you be so in other words, you may be a leader and not even realize you're leading.
Right. See, but that's the best type of leader. See, but now let me say this.
Why is that the best type?
Because they fall into it naturally. They're not trying to be a leader. What we have in our community, we have a bunch of motherfuckers that want to. I'm claiming I'm a leader with 2 followers. As a matter of fact, I ain't got no followers. I'm just a black leader because I got something to say.
Right. Okay. So say it. You know what I'm saying? Say it then.
But the problem is that you're saying it, but you want to be recognized as a leader. You walk into a room and say you're a leader because there is no. We look at leadership totally wrong. And if y'all want to go into it, we go into it. Because I'm ready.
Look,
the perverse old man is about to go in. I'm ready to go in.
I'll say this here. Let me ask this question. Are leaders born?
Hell no.
Wait, hold on. Let me finish my question first.
Hell no.
Are leaders born or are they made?
They're made.
Okay. So
I think both things can occur.
So if they are made, according to you, if they're made or if they're born, because they do have some people that are born with certain.
Give me an example.
Me.
Okay, there we go.
You was born a leader?
Yes.
Bullshit,
I ain't.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I say that to say that,
he said bullshit, I ain't.
I say that to say this here, is that, there are a lot of things that we all are capable of.
See, but then we go with that.
Hold up. I'm gonna let you finish. I'm gonna let you.
Go ahead, Lamar.
There are a lot of things that we are capable of doing, just by mere, being here. You know what I'm saying? In other words, nobody teaches women how to be mothers. You see what I'm saying? But mother, hold up. A mother has to do the cooking, do the go on a job, raise the children, bring them to wherever they bring them to, the activities and stuff. And then when your child see that, they pick up some of those skills from you. But nobody taught you how to do that though, you know what I'm saying? Because, the old people always say, you can't teach nobody how to be no woman. You could teach them how to be a woman, but you can't teach them how to be mothers. Go ahead.
That goes against everything that we've been talking about for the last 15 years. Listen, dog, rites of passage is where men learn how to be men,
But
women learn how to be. Hold on,
everybody don't go through right.
hold on. See, but that's the point. So when you say there's nobody to teach women how to be mothers, that's in a group of people. That's in a group of people who have been broken away from their culture, because the culture has to train the mothers, because the mothers are the first teachers of the children. So if the mothers don't know shit about being mother, they got to figure that out and still be the teacher. Come on,
Charles
dude.
Stevenson said, "Greetings. What are the requirements for leadership?" So what is the requirement for leadership then?
Now, requirements for leadership: understanding what you are doing, right? Because now, hold on, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Leaders understanding what you are doing. Like, for example, one of the issues that we have with leadership in our community is that we say community and we don't really mean community. See, because now the language is not clear. When we say community, we mean every black person in the goddamn country, right? And there's no way that we're going to be able to build some shit like that. The closest person to that right now is a Minister Farrakhan. Why? Mr. Farrakhan has individuals in different cities that he can control. Now, and we got some pastors or some bishops that might be able to do that shit. But right now, those of us that's talking about leadership, when we say community, we're not talking about where we live. We're talking about some imaginary place in outer space. So before you can even think about leadership, you got to define on what you are leading. What is your territory, and what is the economic life you're trying to build? Basic geometry lessons. For example, a black leader in Columbus is somebody that understands where he at. We are in Columbus, Ohio. That's where I'm trying to build my tribe, right? The economic life is what? In geometry, we talk about media. So we're being very specific about where we are and what we do to develop an economic life. You understand what I'm saying? Because when you look at a tribe, you got what a tribe is basically a miniature nation, is a stable, historically developed community of people with territory, economic life, distinctive culture, and a language in common.
You know, Mr. Terrence Scott said a true leader has the ability to communicate effectively.
Yeah, but we got plenty of people in our community. We got niggas that's got women out here walking the streets because they are able to communicate. Bitch, so, get me my money.
So you said
it's not just about effective communications. It's a whole bunch of other qualifications that go there.
That's just one of them, though.
Right. And that's one of them. You understand what I'm saying? Because we think it's about, because some of us know people that lead that don't even say shit to us. They lead by example.
Tariq Nasheed a leader?
No.
Would you consider Tariq Nasheed a leader?
No.
I consider him a leader because you know what? Even though you may not like where he may be leading people to, he's leading. And he's got a large number of people that he leads, and that all he has to do is say a certain thing.
And they're going to do it.
And I'm going to raise some money for this museum.
Right.
And I need to hit $1 million in 2 weeks.
Right.
And guess what he got?
Right.
Over $1 million.
Over $1 million.
Because he led those people.
He led those people.
So he is a leader.
Right. Now, but this is my point.
He may not be your leader.
No, but let me ask a question.
Okay.
Is he a leader for black folks? Is he a leader? Because let me tell you something about Tariq Nasheed. Tariq Nasheed is the type of motherfucker that will say something and people will respond, and that motherfucker will abdicate, or he will get rid of any responsibility or any connection to him. You understand what I'm saying? No. He's not willing to take responsibility for shit he do. He could do him, and he's about him. I'm just saying that's my personal opinion. So now, okay, cool. He has a following. I wouldn't consider that a leader, because we need to be clear. When I'm talking about leader, I'm not talking about somebody who just has a following that will do what he say. I'm talking about somebody that's leading our people to where the fuck we need to be.
Well, you know, Mr. Scott was like, he is indeed. He communicates an idea and follows through. And people follow, like, you know, some people, I mean, Jim Jones was a motherfucking leader. He led motherfuckers to their death, but he was a leader. He was a motherfucking leader. You know what I'm saying?
Is he what we is Jim Jones the model that we need?
No.
Okay.
He is not. But
Okay,
we're
cool.
talk
So
about
when we
leaders
in this
because that's the
conversation,
problem. That's the problem. We have a lot of people who are
we
leading.
have a lot of people with charisma.
And that are leading,
Well,
and
you
they're not leading us in the right direction.
I'm
But
just
you
saying.
need some of that too.
Yeah,
You need some of
got
that.
to. You
But if
do.
that's all you got,
You know, I mean, you need some of it. You need some of. You need a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. Okay.
know,
and as a leader, you also need to know when something is not your forte and be able to put somebody else in charge of that.
Yes.
Now,
yes, you do need that.
So, as a leader, would you consider Brother Polite a leader?
No. Now you asking me if I would consider. That's the same thing as asking me about your boy that you just asked about now.
Well, I don't. No, I don't. You know what I'm
Are
saying?
Are you a leader?
I don't know, am I?
No.
Thank you. That's all I need to know.
You might be a leader of your family.
But
you was born a leader. But then you turn around and tell me I'm not a leader.
Well,
I love that.
But you may be a leader of your family, but
then if I'm a leader of my family and I'm leading them in the right direction,
I don't know if you're doing that or not.
You right.
I don't know.
That's
right. You know what I'm saying?
He's a leader.
But I do know that you know a lot of
But
stuff.
he doesn't lead a lot of
you
people, but he's a leader.
Yeah, you know, and that makes all of us leaders, though, doesn't it?
No, because some of us are not even leading our families in the right motherfucking
what
direction.
I'm saying is that, you know, even if we ain't, you know, we leading something. We lead.
Because you have followers and you have leaders. And
can followers become good leaders?
Yes.
Yes, at some point.
And sometimes leaders need to be good followers.
Well, a leader can't be no good follower.
Yes, he can. They got to be. Listen.
A leader cannot be.
Listen.
A leader.
Look at the camera.
Listen.
A leader cannot be.
I disagree.
A leader. Wait. One thing I do notice here is that once you reach leadership, you know, you can't go back and be no follower.
All right, I challenge you on that because you was in the military and you know you talking some shit. You just right now you just want to pick my goal.
Yeah.
All right, now hold on. You are a captain. You are in charge of whatever you are in charge of.
A whole bunch of shit.
As a captain.
Right. A whole bunch of shit.
But who gives the captain his orders?
The major.
Okay,
So
cool.
he's
So it's a goddamn follower.
He follows the major.
Well,
but he leads the people under him.
But look, hold up.
You can't. Come on. How you gonna clean that up?
The major don't necessarily.
Okay, who leads the major?
Wait, hold up. You know that shit don't go like that.
Oh.
You know that shit don't go like that because the majors don't necessarily.
Miss Tracy said the teacher was a student first.
The major doesn't necessarily. The major doesn't necessarily give the captain their orders. You see what I'm saying? Because he's just an executive CEO sitting off over there. You know, now because if you're a company commander, you know what I'm saying, and you sitting in the room with the major and the lieutenant colonel, the major may not be the one that do that. He may be on the side. Look. The lieutenant colonel. It's
okay to be wrong.
I know, but the lieutenant colonel is the one that you get your orders from. You see what I'm saying?
It's okay.
I'm just saying.
Listen, it's okay.
But
I asked you who gives the captain his order. You said who? The major. All right, cool. Let's move. All right, cool. Let's take it a little bit far. Cool. You're right. The major might not give the captain the orders, but the major might pass orders on to the captain.
All down from
hold on.
To the colonel.
So who giving the major the
somebody
orders?
Is following.
Look,
and that's okay.
Look. Listen to me. You know, once the captain got the order. Once the captain got the order, the major don't come in and say, "Hey, you're doing that wrong." You see what I'm saying? The captain is the company commander.
So
on the company level,
the major tells them.
Wait. On the company level, see, you got different levels.
Exactly.
Okay.
So there's
on the company damn level, the major don't have to give the damn. The major don't have to give the damn.
Illumina. It's okay.
Okay.
So listen.
It's okay for you to be wrong.
Exactly. I'll be wrong too.
Okay.
I'll be wrong. In this point, I'll be wrong.
Okay.
We'll let them decide. I'll be wrong.
The thing about it is that a leader can also be a follower. I feel
He
like
needs to be able to follow.
because he may have somebody over him, like you said. If the motherfucker say, look, like it's like a supervisor. He's the leader of his staff, but if his boss say you go down there and you tell all them motherfuckers they gotta work till midnight tonight, and that's my lead, and you need to follow my lead. Guess what he gonna do?
You're gonna do that. But also, I'll give you another example.
Follow his fucking lead.
What if, for example, I, as a leader of a group, I have an assignment to complete.
Okay.
And it has to do with me working with my hands. I walk into a building and I am told that there's a job I have to do that I have no skill at. I could tell the people what needs to be done.
Gotcha.
Hold on.
Gotcha.
But in order for it to get done, there needs to be labor and there needs to be somebody that knows what they're doing.
That's right.
So as a leader,
that's right,
I will look at the person who has the skills to do it and be like, get this done.
That's right.
What do you need from me? Now I'm putting myself in not a leadership role.
Yes, you are.
No.
Yes,
no.
you are.
But listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying.
Still there.
Hold on, I'm still there, but I can't tell this man how to do what he's a master at.
No.
Okay, but listen, that's not important at this point. We need to
look. See, that's what's wrong with us in the black community. Now,
go ahead.
Now, look. I'm just gonna mention the thing, and then you can go it on with whatever you're gonna go on with. Look, following everything you say, right? I ain't gonna try to go over that.
Right.
But once you discover, in other words, like I can't. In other words, if I'm a mess sergeant, right? Mm-hmm. I'm in charge of the whole thing, the whole operation.
The people that don't know mess is the food. But go ahead.
I'm in charge of the whole operation.
Right.
Now, but I've been working with you guys long enough. I know
what you good at.
Who's good at meat? Not to say I don't know meat.
Right.
Who's good at vegetables? Who's good at this? Who's good at that? So I will put you in the leadership in me will put you in these places. Now, you don't make no. In other words, the people who are put in these positions, you don't make no fucked up decisions or either take it on your own that you're going to do such and such without consulting me.
Right. But now, that's all I'm saying. But listen, and we are not in disagreement.
That's all I'm saying.
In your realm, you are the leader.
That's right. And in that realm you were talking about,
right.
In that realm you were talking about, you still the leader.
No. I'm not.
Listen.
Okay, go ahead.
Listen.
Yes, it does.
Mr. Charles Stevenson said the self-mastery play a role in leadership.
Definitely.
And that's one thing it definitely does. Because I think a lot of times, how you gonna lead me to do some shit, and then you can't even do the shit. You are all over the fucking place. Like some of these leaders, like you talk about, you can't be a leader in our community, in my opinion, and you running around here fucking all these young girls. You know what I'm saying? You taking advantage of women, and
you can be a leader at that.
He's
a leader, but you can be a good leader. I'm not following a motherfucker who just like Malcolm X. We see how he departed from them motherfucker when he found out he was having sex with all them young girls, dropping babies and shit. And he was like, "That's not gonna be my leader."
Right. But Elijah Muhammad made sure that motherfucker got silenced. You see what I'm saying?
He did.
But the leader made sure that his silence is there. So regardless of what you felt, the leader made sure that his ass was silent.
Right. Malcolm went on.
That's all I'm saying.
To lead elsewhere.
You know, and when he got to be the leader, guess what? He could do like he wanted to do.
But the point is that he did not look at him as that leader that he thought he was anymore.
And I want to stress this: being a leader is not being able to do what you want to do; it's being able to do what needs to be done.
And that's that self-mastery part comes into play. That's
where that self-mastery part comes into play, because as a leader, you have to sacrifice things and you have to set examples.
Because you can be a horrible leader. You can be a leader, but you look at some of these pastors at the church, and I know like they gotta have a whole wife and everything, and they got about 3 or 4 bitches they fucking in the congregation.
It's okay. It's okay. You know why it's okay?
Because there's no such thing as cheating.
Ain't no such thing as cheating.
Oh, y'all better start commenting on this. Come on now.
Because
Ain't no such
you
thing
can't
as
be.
cheating.
Because that's one thing I noticed, like the self-mastery talk about. If you can't master your sexual desires, motherfucker, and you put yourself, like Brother Polite, for example, this motherfucker, if it comes out to be true, that he took this girl to this hotel and shit, you can't be, to me, that's not a good leader. A good leader don't do this. You can be a leader, but you a shitty motherfucking leader because you got around here doing shit like, huh?
He didn't say he was no leader, did he?
You don't have to say you are.
But that's the loophole. See, that's the loophole. A lot of people will put out propaganda as a leader, but then when they get caught in some bullshit, I'm not a leader, I'm not an example. And that's some bullshit. That's what I don't like.
Bullshit.
Look, just because you got some knowledge about something don't make you a leader or nothing.
But Lumala, this is the issue. If you're living like a leader, and you're sitting out here and you're throwing out information. Hold on. You're throwing out information. You are able to command people to do certain things. Now, this is where, because like she asked about Tariq Nasheed, she believes Tariq Nasheed is a leader because he has people that follow. I don't necessarily think that he's a leader, but other people do. If you have that type of influence, you have a certain responsibility, and you can't just all of a sudden change your mind. I want to fuck this young bitch, so all of a sudden I'm gonna change my mind about my status. You know what I'm saying? Because I never declared I was a leader. And this is what we have. We have motherfuckers that are wishy-washy in our communities in positions of influence. That's why I'm saying we got to be clear on what a leader is and define that shit and be like, he's an influencer. He's not a motherfucking leader. And we need to be able to have those discussions because it's a difference. Because a leader, in my perspective and from my perspective, is one of those individuals that is trying to set an example, doing all the, I mean, it's moving people towards life.
Well, Terrence Scott said he looked at Polite as a teacher, not a leader.
All right, cool. I mean, let's go play with the words. I think we're playing with the words.
That's okay too. That's okay.
It's a matter of semantics.
Teachers, you know, you spilling out information. You know what I'm saying?
I just told you it's
I don't know. You know,
no, I'm gonna wish you juice.
Real leadership, to me, real leadership is when you are, you know, a governing body over people. You know what I'm saying? And moving them in the right way and moving up to their highest self.
But let's talk about another. Let's talk about another aspect of leadership that a lot of times we don't.
In my personal life, you know, you can look at it, but it got some flaws, just like I can look at your personal life. See, and it got flaws.
Having flaws is different than full-fledgedly fucking with young girls. That's not a flaw. That's a problem. See, we all have. We all got problems. See, but all of us is not fucking young girls, man. That's different. All of us are not doing shit that's just totally outside of what we stand for.
There's standards you have to be a good leader, a productive leader.
He said clarity.
Tracy said, I have come across many individuals whose leadership was not respected by me. There you go. Because, I mean, they may be a leader of some motherfucker. It's unfortunate because we have leaders that lead. What are you leading? Love and hip hop, for example. That they leading girls right down the road to loose pussies.
Friendly pussies.
Friendly pussies.
Very friendly.
And fake asses and fake lips and fake hair. But guess what? Like I remember someone said that Beyonce was more of a leader and influenced than Michelle Obama. And people were pissed, like, oh, you can't say that. But guess what?
Two different crowds. Two different crowds.
She got a large.
She got a larger audience, and she's more of an influencer.
And motherfuckers, they listen.
Than her.
But now I want to.
Mr. Scott said, "What? Playing with the word, please clarify."
Right, because teacher. Think about this. What is a teacher? A teacher in your child's life, or a teacher, is a leader.
That's right.
See, we want, and when I'm saying playing with the words, because we don't really understand what it means. A teacher is leading you into the place where you need to be in your life. So they're a leader to a certain extent. So we'll say, I see him more as a teacher, right? But it's like, yo, I mean, come on now. Once you put somebody in that position, they have some say-so in your life.
Even as a teacher, as polite as a teacher, he comes forth and he will tell you about, financial things you should be doing. He's leading you, in my opinion. People he's speaking to. He's leading them to,
he's teaching them. He's not leading them. He's teaching them that when you run up on this or when you come up on this, this is how this is going to look and this is what you need to do about it.
But okay, here's where I think the leader part comes in, because of the mass following he is doing. He is leading people with those teachings. Is he not leading people with what he teaches?
But anybody can get those teachings from anywhere else too.
But we're talking about him. Is he not leading people with those teachings?
I'll give you an example.
Is he not?
Yes, he is. I'm gonna give you an example. Like we in GMA, we got with Bay New Health, we got CMOS. I had somebody today come to me and say they want CMOS. I said, do you want the dried or you want the bottle?
Mm-hmm.
They looked at me and said, well, explain the dried. I told them how they would take the dried and simply turn it into what I put in the bottle.
Right.
They said, I don't want to do that. I just want the gel.
Right.
Now, what I'm saying is, we have people, when you say anybody get that information, we know everybody's not going out. See, because that's the problem. As black folks, we tell everybody, you need to do your research. Everybody ain't gonna do that goddamn research. Because in white supremacy, everybody don't do research. Motherfuckers follow.
Right.
They listen, they do shit. And this is human nature. This is what people do. And let me do what I do and be good at. I want to be able to trust somebody that can lead me on the path.
Like Christ, Tracy said, Christ was a teacher. Was he not a leader? Hey.
He ain't never done nothing.
Who?
Christ.
Well, we know
he had a gang of 12, nigga. What is you talking about?
Shit,
he had them.
Well, that's all he had.
No, well, hold on.
And they were constantly asking him, well, why you ain't doing what we do?
Not only was he able to lead them, but he was able to have a multitude of motherfuckers come to his meetings.
Well, we don't know about that.
No, but hold on, time out. We don't. In that case, we don't know if he had 12. But according to the story, I'm going by the story.
Okay.
All right, now I'm going by the story because I go by the story.
But hold on. The motherfucker 12 also motherfucker sold his ass out too.
Oh, didn't the same thing happen to Heru?
We talking about the subject here. We talking about the subject here. Now, if you want to talk about Heru,
let's talk about it.
What you want to talk about?
See, because it's a myth too. See, so if we're gonna throw Jesus' story in doubt, if we're gonna throw the story in doubt, let's throw all the story, throw all the motherfuckers, throw them all at me. I'm ready for all of them.
Come on.
See, because the whole issue is that's part of the story. There's always a betrayer. That's part of our life.
Right, so listen, let me
that's
ask
part
you
of
this.
Leadership.
Let me ask you this, since we're gonna go and since Jesus and Heru was mentioned. Well, I want to say this though. This is what I want to say. And this is are black people too, when they drop their religion, are they still religious in their actual spirituality?
Yes, they are.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It can be a good thing if they understand the power of myth. This is where we have a lot of problems because we don't understand that myth was a science of life. It was stories that our ancestors put together to help us understand life. And some motherfuckers divorce themselves away from religion and then divorce themselves away from myth so they can't get the goddamn lesson. You can't get the lesson. So it's hard for us to communicate. See, Jesus is a lesson. It's a myth. And once you understand the science, I ain't gonna call it science. Once you understand what myth is for and how to use it, you can grow.
You can grow from myth, and you can grow from fact.
Cool. Go on, show me a fact that you can grow from. See, because people don't listen to
that. If I go outside in the sun, that I can, have vitamin D. I can I can grow my plants.
Okay.
And stuff. Those
That's
are
beautiful,
facts.
ain't it?
Yeah, those are facts.
Now, but hold on. Let me tell you something. Facts have never moved people, nor has it ever moved a group of people. Black folks have facts. You have been throwing facts at black people for the last 30 years, Navitta.
Prove it to me. That's all they say. Prove it to me.
No, they don't know. Black folks didn't even say prove it to me, because if it was about proving it to them, then black folks would have said a long time ago, prove to me that a man walked on water.
But see, that's what I'm saying.
We don't look at that.
Myth, and that's a myth. They follow the myth.
No, but hold on. Why do they follow the myth?
Listen, I feel like we need to get.
You ain't answer my question.
I'll
give you the answer.
Because they don't know any better to study nothing else.
It's deep. It's deeper than that. We follow the myth because it moves our emotions. It generates hope, and in that, I get caught up in the myth. Now, part of the myth is when you are ready, the myth, in a sense, opens up for you, and you can use that in your life. But a lot of us get stuck and think that the story of Jesus is about somebody outside of ourselves, rather than something going on in me. The story of Heru becomes something that happened outside of me instead of something that's happening inside of me. The story of Krishna happened outside of me rather than it's a story of my life. It's letting me know there's going to be betrayers. It's letting me know I am going to have to make a sacrifice. It's letting me know. But we get so caught up in wanting to compare history and show how big my historical bars are that we can't get the goddamn message. So we start arguing about bullshit rather than the fact that, have you not noticed the similarities in the sacrifices of the so-called hero in all these myths? Why is that?
Because it's a message in the myth. Yes, there's messages in myth.
And if you don't get initiated, you can't get it.
But you can get the message without the goddamn myth.
No, you can't get the message because nothing moves you. Stories are human beings' first technology. That's what you're trying to. You're trying to jump on the first.
So a person who is, let's say, an atheist, they can't get a message.
Now, what? Yeah, I'm gonna tell you how. You know how they get the message?
How?
Science. Because science is a mythology that they use to explain the universe. Just like myth explains the universe to the person that's in that faith. See, this is the point. Human beings tell stories. If we don't tell stories, then we're not humans. And when we try to move outside the stories and try to deal with facts, we can't get people around us. When I was just talking about the facts, I could never get nobody to understand what the fuck I was talking about is geometry.
Listen, the motherfucker say, look here, this is a fact, motherfucker. If you jump off that building, goddammit, you're going to kill your fucking self.
Okay.
That's a fact.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
There's different facts.
You got motherfuckers still want to jump.
Jumping off buildings. You know what I'm saying?
They want to end their shit. That's why they jumping off the building. But you got more people that will walk up to that bridge, be ready to jump, and the motherfucker won't say, don't jump if you jump off this bridge. But let me tell you a story. There's a man who sacrificed his life for your well-being. And that story saved them more than the motherfucker giving them the facts. I know that if I jump off this bridge, I'm going to die. I need something in my life that's going to move me emotionally. It's the story. Like, look,
you should be, but that's not the fact.
Baby. It is the fact. You tell a motherfucker you got your family to think about. You got this. You know, I've been talking.
My family's not enough. I'm not happy in my family relationships.
Well, motherfucker jumped in.
I need to know.
Go on and jump in,
I need to know.
You ain't got nothing to live for, then go ahead and jump.
I ain't got nothing
to
live for.
So where leadership and all this shit? Now, where the leadership and all
the leadership is in being able to take these stories and lead people with the stories to where we as a group need to be.
I agree with you, Hytel. And I agree with you too, Mama. Navitta.
I don't like Navitta
because you know what? There's some truth in both elements.
I had a motherfucker tell me.
But see, you don't have to tell a motherfucker the fact that you don't have to tell a person a fact. If you say, you know what, you got poison right here. If you eat that poison, you're gonna die because that motherfucker who just not ate it died. You know what I'm saying? He could see that, and that's what you're talking about. He don't have to eat it, and you don't have to tell him a fact for him to die. You see what I'm saying?
I got you.
In other words,
I'm laughing because I got a counter for that story. But go ahead.
Well, you don't have to counter it, but you don't have. In other words, you do not have to tell a person a fact about anything in order for to get your point across.
Right, that's true.
You can also tell them a story. But if you want to tell them a fact,
you can do that too.
You can also do that.
But the facts don't move them.
No, damn it.
The
Okay.
facts ain't gonna move
Facts
them.
don't move.
See,
It's
the
just-
facts ain't gonna move them until you tell them the story about how that motherfucking poison killed that motherfucker laying
But you
here.
better make it entertaining. You better make it move. Because listen. For example, you being Navitta come from the age where crack started ravaging the community.
Mhm.
My man Rashid has a joke where he talks about, he asked the question, where's all these new crackheads coming from? When we can see that there's generations of motherfuckers that's dead from this shit.
Mhm.
But we always get a new crop of crackheads in our community. How is that possible?
Right. I have had a lot of friends of mine who have died from crack. But I've also had a lot of friends who have
seen
died
people
from heroin too.
Right. But hold on. And they could see people laying, like you said, almost laying in front of them that died from this shit that I'm about to put in my nose right now, or I'm about to put in this pipe right now. It's not the facts that move us. As human beings, it's not facts that move us. That's all I'm saying.
You're right. I agree that you're right about how, the story is the thing that moves people. I understand that. But if you was telling a story and then at the end you say, you know what? That's a fact. You know what I'm saying? That nigga died fucking with that bullshit right there on the table.
Okay.
When you say,
I'm just saying that.
hold on. When you say
I'm
that's,
just saying that both
can be true.
Both
Right.
spectrums,
Right.
both spectrums from the north and the south
Right.
come together and it's all
It can.
It's okay.
But the issue is when we throw fact onto story, what some people start to believe is they start believing in the myth rather than believing in the lessons of the myth. So then we get into discussing when Jesus was born, if he was born, if he was real, rather than looking at the goddamn lessons. We miss that shit. And that's what bothers me. You understand what I'm saying? That's what I think we're missing. We're getting into the facts of shit. Like, for example, I give you a fact. That story I just told you was a fact. So a motherfucker who's not as intelligent as you or may not even be initiated like you will start basing their whole life on that story that you told them was a fact. Even if it got a motherfucker talking to a snake, walking across water, having a hawk on top of their head, being born from a motherfucking angel.
One story that doesn't move people when in the Bible, you know how they say when Jesus walked.
Wait, hold on. Mr. Terrence Scott. Facts. Go ahead, dog. Show me an example where facts motivate motherfuckers, because we got a whole community of people that have been exposed to facts. It's a fact that black folks created all this shit that we in right now, and it ain't motivate us to move up out this shit yet.
More of us go by the myth. You got more Christian followers that are myth followers than you do anything else. You have Christians, you have Muslims, you have Buddhists. Well, I ain't gonna put Buddhists in there, but Christians and Muslims, I put them two in there, and they are myth followers. And we still ain't did shit.
We still ain't.
So we talking about it's the fact part, it's the myth part more than anything.
No, it's the misrepresentation of the myth. Because what you got to understand, the myths were created by the culture. The culture is supposed to lead people. Now, question, and I'm gonna ask everybody this. I want you to think about this. The myths we have been told, whose culture do they support?
White culture.
So if it support West Asian culture, then where is it going to move us more towards building for ourselves or more towards destroying? So now what we have, so what we have to be bold enough to do is to take the myths and to break them down in a way that can move our people so that we can start moving towards us rather than towards them.
Either we should concentrate on using more of our stories.
Or, and even deeper, which is even scarier for us, being bold enough to create some new ones that work for us.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you on that, man.
Because we scared. Just admit it, you're scared.
Because our story, we don't want to tell our story. We'd rather tell motherfucking Mary had a little lamb, sweeps was white as snow, than tell our fucking stories. You know what I'm saying? We do that.
I'm not arguing with you.
We do that. That's the first thing come out of our mouth, telling their stories. And then all of a sudden we go looking for a little white lamb.
See, and when we look at Christianity, we look at Christianity from a West Asian perspective.
That's
so
right.
it can't work for us. We look at Islam and from a middle Asian's perspective, so it don't serve us. We don't look at none of this shit from our perspective. All that shit was put in place to make sure that they would be empowered.
The average, you're right. The average black person who considers themselves as a Christian, right?
Religion is deeper than knowing right from wrong, my friend.
Look. The average person who believes in Christianity, when you tell them that they think Jesus walked on water, but Peter was the motherfucker that walked on the water, and I always tell them that, well, if you're saying that Peter walked on water, Jesus walked on water, whoever did the walking on water, then guess what? What the dude name is? Martin Luther King must have walked on water too, because he was the first one that brought the motherfucking multitude to the motherfucking DC in 1968.
That depends on the myth.
I'm saying.
Right.
I'm saying.
Who's gonna tell that story? Are you gonna tell that story? Are you gonna create it? Are you bold enough to do it? Because that's what the culture needs.
I tell Christians that all the time.
See, but listen.
But you know what they say?
What?
No. It was Jesus that did that. But you know, like you keep saying, it's part of the myth.
It's part of the myth.
You know what I'm saying? You could take that myth that Jesus did and get some other myth that we doing today and apply that to the same myth.
See, but now that's the point. When you start looking at it, see, because really with Christian, how can I put it? Culture developed tools to maintain a culture. When we look at culture is a living being that wants to continue to exist, and it will fight for its existence. It's an idea that wants to exist.
Right.
And the way that it continues existence is by the people in which it arises out of. So it's not going to do something counter to itself or counter to the people. It's a symbiotic relationship.
It's not going to do something to hurt itself.
It's not going to do something to hurt itself. Right. So if your culture is hurting you, if your myths are hurting you, they are not from your culture or they are not coming from your cultural perspective. We have not learned to look at the world from our perspective. Most of us are looking at the world from our enemy's perspective. So we getting our ass kicked. Right.
That's right. I agree.
You see what I'm saying? So now, when I'm looking at Jesus, this is why I don't get mad at people. When I'm looking at Jesus, the question I have to ask is, who does your idea of Jesus serve? When they say all humanity, I have no holler for you. You understand with me? Who does Allah serve? If Allah serves all humanity, because when you're talking to the Arabs, he's not serving all humanity. You understand what I'm saying? We're the only universal people, which has always been a problem for us. We want to save everybody rather than realizing that when we save ourselves, we save everybody. So we'll take the myths and make them fit everybody else and make everybody in the room feel comfortable when everybody else don't give a fuck about our comfort.
Okay.
Nah, man, I gotta go home.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
So our leadership.
Why do black folks need myth or religion to change their condition? Because it was myth and religions that got us in this motherfucking condition. Follow me?
Yeah, but it can take it. I disagree. You don't
you don't have to agree.
You don't have to have.
Go ahead.
You don't have to have religion or myth.
Okay. But
some people need it and some people don't.
Exactly. So if you don't need it, then we ain't talking about you, are we?
No, that's what I said.
So we're talking about the other 80% of us?
But it's here. But it's here.
Exactly.
And over 80% of us follow it.
And who created Illuminati?
Who said it? Rhonda Johnson. Why do black folks need myth or religion to change their condition? Okay, Rhonda Johnson.
I just answered that.
I feel you, sis. Why do we need that? I mean, some of us, I guess, do. Some people, they just can't. They need the story, as how Tim talks about. They need the myth. I'm just one of them people that am not really keen on it myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not keen on it.
Mm-hmm. But I think what Tim also is saying that all people need myth.
I don't need
you know what I'm saying?
I agree with you.
All people need myth.
You need myth because you got myths in your life right now.
Even guess what? Even the healed people, you need myth. You know what I'm saying? You gotta tell them. You gotta tell them stories that
I think the people that's in
from.
denial of that shit is crazy as fuck.
Huh?
She said I'm crazy as fuck, and she said I'm saying people that believe what you're saying is crazy as fuck. But I still love you and I appreciate your view and I like your view. Go ahead and share it. Feel free.
You are adults. You know right from wrong.
Now,
Religion is
see, but hold on.
about
You're
right
going
wrong.
back to the right and wrong. See, I'm going to challenge you on that shit, right? Right and wrong is a cultural phenomenon. As black folks, we don't know right from wrong because most of the shit that we consider right and wrong does not serve us. So, yeah, we do need something. Now, you might not want to call it religion, but most of the shit that you think is right does not serve you at all, baby.
Let's be honest. For 1,000 years. I hear you, Rhonda. I'm with you, Rhonda. It ain't worked for
Rhonda, you are looking at the world upside down. Rhonda, baby, I love you. But I want you to think about this. It is myth.
It ain't worked yet.
It is
myth. It ain't worked yet.
It is myth that has white folks on top. Bullshit. It's a myth. It's a myth. And you know why? It's empowered because you believe in it. You saying it ain't working, it's working for them.
This is the thing.
You know what I do know?
White people are on top.
I'm agreeing with you, Hatem, because myth
not because of no
help
goddamn.
you explain facts a little bit easier.
Okay, you know.
Myth help you
Break it down
explain
to a kid, right? Not only does it help you explain it, it helps lock it into the mind.
But I don't need a myth to know.
Think about this. Think about this. Most of us remember. Most of us remember religious stories more than remember the facts that we got in school.
No, Rhonda said no. It's black folks doing nothing.
Okay, whatever.
It's black folks doing nothing. They've been fed a myth all their life.
Okay, whatever. You've been fed myth that serves somebody else.
Well, they've been explaining myth by white folks that have turned that into
a weapon against us.
You see what I'm saying? You know, in other words, like, guess what? If you don't work, you don't eat. You know what I'm saying?
But this is the thing. That's an action. If you don't work, you don't eat. Cool. We know that. That's a fact. If you don't work, you don't eat.
Right.
As far as, that's.
But it's also. It also is part of the myth too, because the myth of it says that if you don't work, you don't eat. Now they didn't say what kind of work you need to do. You see what I'm saying? You just don't. If you don't do it, you don't get fed. I want to think that too. All right,
white folks don't follow religion. Okay. Black folks do. Right?
Yeah, they do have a religion. It's called white supremacy, baby, and they follow that shit to a T.
But that's a fact.
No, it's not a fact. It's a fucking belief. These motherfuckers are less than 20% of the world, and they got motherfuckers steeped in their shit. So we all believing what they tell us to believe, and we're operating in a way to give them power. As a matter of fact, I'll give you the power of myth. If you don't believe in myth, throw all your goddamn money away, because it's a myth that make that shit real.
No, it ain't.
Okay. All right. So see, that's what I'm saying. You don't know nothing about money. You don't know nothing about money, then. See, so we can stop that. We can stop that.
Really
money.
Listen, if we were trading motherfucking shekels, the shekels would be worth.
Shekels were a form of what?
Oh, what you say?
Okay.
Hi, Tim. Are you saying that
currency is real?
The paper that money, that the paper
shekels
that we call money,
right?
The paper that we call money,
right?
Is when you think about it.
Charles Stevenson said he agreed with Tim.
It's really a myth, though.
It is a myth
because they got us thinking that this shit is real, and they got everybody thinking that it's real.
Wait, this shit is real, though.
See,
Navitta, they got everybody
stop. If it ain't real, then don't go pay your rent next month.
Navitta, see, no, you ain't see. See, that's the point. That's why we have problems. Because
it's a myth. Give me all your shit, then.
Navitta,
give me all your myth.
Navitta, that is once again, that's getting back to the basic religion. You believe that's your religion. Money, your goddamn religion, and money might be Rhonda's religion.
Because you know what?
Money is a real money.
Money is a religion.
Because you know what?
Currency that we have
no, because shekels. What was shekels? What was shekels backed by, baby? Shekels was backed by something. Okay. We can't. I can't continue the discussion. We can't discuss.
One thing we do know is this here: is that if they took away all of the paper money and substituted with silver and gold, that's not paper. You know what I'm saying? That's not paper. What you gonna say money is then?
See, but also what's going on with a lot of people don't recognize they're already doing that, but they're not doing it with actual physical currency. They're doing it with digital currency, which is going to throw everything out of whack. It's just a matter of what people believe in. I'm telling you right now.
But what you're saying too is that if the powers to be that are governing this paper money
right.
here, if they decide that, just like China did a couple of years ago, if they decide that they're going to get rid of all paper money, no matter how much you got, it ain't gonna be worth nothing.
It won't be. But right now,
see what I'm saying?
See, but hold on, but right now, see, if it was worth something, it would be worth something regardless of who said what.
And when it happens, it still be worth it.
See, that's what. So that's a belief. Yeah. But hold on, I know it's gonna take time. Go on. Think about it.
Sometimes things change. Things do change. That doesn't make it not a fact.
See, but baby, nobody ever said anything about religion being real. This is part of the issue. We're talking about two different things. I'm talking about why it affects people. Nobody is talking about the realness of religion. That's why you don't understand me, because you get caught up on bullshit. You're getting caught up in bullshit. Nobody's talking about myth being real. Nobody's talking about religion being real. Y'all talking about money being real. You understand what I'm saying? It ain't about realness. It's about what the governing institutions tell you is real. So yeah, you know right from wrong, as you say, but do you know real from the unreal? See, that's one of the laws of Maya that a lot of us don't want to deal with, because that means we have to really do some deep critical thinking about some shit. And then once we really start facing what reality is, we might go crazy. Some of you motherfuckers won't even be able to survive when you really start looking at the real reality. Stop playing with me. Y'all playing with me. See, because now we say religion is real. Better yet, I ain't gonna speak for her, or I'm gonna speak for me. I'm being told here that I said religion is real. I said religion was a myth. Religion is an agreed upon lie that we all use to go, and same thing as myth, to agree on what makes up reality. And I'm saying, as black people, what is the agreed upon lie we have come up with to deal with reality that we are dealing with?
Right.
And I'm saying it's been given to us
right.
by another group
right.
that benefits them. And if you can't understand that, baby, I don't know what to say.
And it benefits them through us.
Oh man, it benefits them big time through us.
Yeah. See, we the motherfuckers that go out here believing all this.
No, we become like that. We become the underclass that they are able to float their currency on.
Yeah, yeah.
And our belief feeds into their system, making their system even more powerful than anything else on this planet.
They got all the businesses. You see what I'm saying? We buy all the shit from them, through them. You see what I'm saying? And I do agree. I agree, man. You know, I mean,
well,
look it up.
You hitting on some.
What time is it? What time is it?
So
I'm about to
get off. You hitting on some pretty good stuff there. You know what I'm saying? You know, and it's going to take a while for black people to, to come to that understanding.
I don't think so.
Yes, it is.
Okay,
I think because the world is changing faster.
The world can be changing, but what I'm saying is that, if we got people on the machine right here saying that religion is real.
No, they ain't saying religion is real. They saying that we're saying religion is real.
Well, religion,
and that we're crazy for saying that money is not real. Yeah. Money and religion are in the same day, and the same is a myth.
Yeah,
it's a fucking myth.
Because all I got to do is get you to believe that I'm a good.
So give me all your money. I'll give you all my cash, but I won't give you all my Bitcoin. Motherfucker.
Okay. Well, you know what? We coming to an end.
Motherfucker.
We're coming to an end, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week.
I ain't coming back. I want to continue doing my shows. Because I can't be sitting up here arguing about this shit.
No, shut your ass.
But that's good though. That's good.
So thanks for joining in. Tune in next week.
Hey, we want to thank everybody, all the donators.
Definitely.
Who has given to Blunt Talk, Giami Journey. We want to thank y'all. We can't thank y'all enough. Please keep giving, and we will see y'all
after I get up.
We will see y'all next week. Same
we appreciate
time,
y'all for real.
Same station.
And Miss Rhonda Johnson, thank you. Thank you for the talk, baby. I'm just frustrated right now. I had a long day at work.
Don't I'll put it on no work, man. You it's a myth, man.
You can't talk about my myth.
Tomorrow, so.
Yeah. That's a myth.
All right, thanks for tuning in, y'all. We'll see you next week. Same black time, same black channel.
I ain't coming back. I quit.
Okay, well, motherfucker, don't come back.
I ain't coming back.
Don't come back there, shit.